So here we were on the side of the road, me and my friend with our 2 backpacks.
The first time someone came up to me and they asked me, "How are you going?" I said, "With my dad," and that was pretty embarrassing.
Everybody was trying to be cool, I remember, and I got carried away.
But I just kept thinking something terrible was going to happen to Bill, and I wished he'd had pants on. But anyway,
I couldn't see. I just thought no one else could see either.
And I find that it really helps me to express how I feel about being Aboriginal.
That year away was much more educating than the 10 years before.
And it was just that feeling of freedom, just getting on the bike at long last after all the planning.
I just wanted a shift. I just wanted a
change. I didn't know what to do.
But I came home to do my dream.
What's your story?
What's your story?
What's your story?
Australia is a multicultural country and has a long history in settling refugees. Since 1939, Australia has been home for refugees from Europe, former Soviet Union, Asia, the Middle East, Africa, South and Central America. Currently, 75% of the world's refugees come from Afghanistan, Iraq, Somalia, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Burma, Colombia, Sudan, Vietnam and China. After more than 30 years of refugees arriving and settling in Townsville, on the 3rd of July 2009, Townsville was declared a refugee welcome zone. Townsville is doing its part in restoring hope for refugees, and this is some of their stories. I would like to introduce Cleophas.
Yes, my name is Cleophas Kabanda. I'm from Rwanda. I fled my home country about 2000. Then I went through to Zambia, and I lived there about 8 years, and my family. Eventually, we got an opportunity to come to Australia through the UNHCR, and now we are here in Australia. We are really appreciate for that. Because here in Australia we have a lot of opportunity to improve our life. So we do a lot of activities in this country. Even also government helps for many activities. As you can see, my children now, they go to school. Even me, I'm at school at TEF. I'm learning English studies. Normally everything's good. Because the first in our life most of them we can get them. Townsville is big city. It's not bigger, but it's a big city, and infrastructure enough because the road, about the health, we can find everything, and you also I really love Townsville because. So I can find most of what I need here in Townsville. We can afford to find important things in your life, like from when we say health, we can count from food, medication, and I can say that I think most of life here in Townsville are different with African. Definitely there is good African community because most of the time we do African festival every year. We meet a lot of refugee friends from Africa. We share our story from our continent. A lot of things to talk with them so that everyone can be happy and can be forget the difficult event happened to his life or her life. I can say that I'm very happy to live here with my family, and I really appreciate Australia to receive us and help us as a refugee in a good manner. So a lot of things to appreciate for this country. That's all.
Australia is a signatory to the United Nations Refugee Convention 1951 and to the 1967 Protocols, which states, Any person has the right to enter a country for the purpose of seeking asylum, regardless of how they arrive or whether they hold a valid travel or identity documents when fleeing from persecution. This definition is used by the Australian Government to determine whether a country has protection obligations towards the people seeking asylum. If the person is found to be a refugee, Australia is obligated under international law, as set out in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, to offer protection and to ensure that the person will not be sent back unwillingly to their country of origin. This is Marta's story.
My name is Marta David from West Africa, Liberia. In Liberia, I was married. During the war, the army came down. They brought my husband. They wanted my husband to throw their ammunition overnight. And I was crying. I don't want him to go, and he too was crying. So the people told him, hey, you can't go, we will kill you. So I told him, I said, by the name of Matthew, David, I said, the only thing, let everyone all go with the children, because you are not an army man, you don't know about gun, and they grab you in the night time, they say you have to go, so let everyone all go. So while you were getting ready for everyone to go with the army people, they refused for us to go with them. So they told me to go with the children, and I had to shot him right in front of me. And while he fell down, like he dying, crying, so I went there, the army man grabbed a knife on his side, and then gassed me with it on my hand. So the how we left that place, and all the people came around. He was gone. At that time, he was killed right on his scene. So the heart ran away with the children in Guinea overnight. When we got to Guinea, UNHCR, Red Cross, they came in, they saw me with the blood everywhere. They took me, they had to carry me to the hospital, and I was there till my hand got killed. Then we left, we went to Canada in the refugee camp. Then I was there when the UNHCR people used to come with food for us. They gave us some wheat, buckwheat, oil, beans. The house survived with these children. And God bless me, the people were able to put my name on paper. They said, you people will be going to Australia. It was just a dream for me. I never knew that I would come this far. Today, my life in Australia is like God, the one that brought me here. Because I never thought of going anywhere, even to bring all the children food for all in a refugee camp. I used to be sitting down. The people from Western world would just come, they give me food. Like they will come give us surprise, they will just give us food. They say, this for you, this for you. I was just happy. So that how come God bless me and they put my name on paper, I was able to come in this country. I brought the children here, the TMSG, Multicultural Support Group, took all, they started studying all what to do, how to live in Australia. And then the children, they sending the children to school. And myself, my English was not good, and up to now my English is not good. So they sent me to school. I started learning how to read and write. Little I was able to get there. Now I'm a nursing assistant. I'm doing a nursing in an aged care home, taking care of old people. And my children all going to school. One of them by the name of Naomi David. She just got through with her certificate 3 too, and she doing a little job too. So I'm very happy in Australia. I never knew that life could be like that on me in my life. But all in all, I just tell my God, thank you, because He the one that worked this miracle in my life.
Do you know the difference between a refugee, asylum seeker and a migrant? According to the United Nations Refugee Convention, a refugee is any person who is owing to a well-founded fear of being persecuted for reasons of race, religion, nationality, membership of a particular social group, or political opinion, is outside the country of his or her nationality and is unable or owing to such fear, is unwilling to avail himself or herself of the protection of that country. This is Nirmala and Narayani's story.
Hi, my name is Nirmala Mishra. I live in Townsville. I have been here for 9 months ago. And here in Townsville, we are altogether 35 people. They all are refugees, Bhutanese refugees. I was born in Nepal. My origin are from Bhutan, but I born in Nepal. Bhutan is a small country. It is near from India and China. Due to this some violence, corruption, and just like discrimination about caste, language, our parents they were forced to leave Bhutan. The Bhutanese government they used to come in our house and they said like that you should move the country because there is some caste discrimination. Like sexual harassment to the young lady. So that's why my parents they used to think that we have 4 daughters, so it is very risky to leave that country. So they decided to move to Nepal. And when they moved to Nepal, they know that there is some refugees, so he lived there. And in Nepal, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugee, they help and support all the Bhutanese refugees by providing clothes, food, such as shelter, bamboo, toilet. They manage some toilet, hospital, such as some YFC called Youth Friendly Center. Since last 2008, there is one organization called IOM, which stands for International Migration Organization for Migration. They decided that it is a third country resettlement. And then there is some list of country we have to select, just like America, Australia, New Zealand, Netherlands, Denmark. So we used to think that Australia is the best country for us. Then all Australian government, one of the government, they came to our house and they said you have to go because Australia is a good for your family because we are 4 sisters, blah blah. They said like that. And we plan and we fill the form, and it takes us more than 3 years. So it's a long time, but then also at last we came to Australia, and I really feel happy because I have got chance to study in high school. Hope so I will be one day able to speak in English in a good way, and I got some study plus some help from my teacher. So now I'm happy to stay in Australia. And lastly, I would like to thank the Australian government. Thank you.
An asylum seeker is a person who has sought protection as a refugee, but whose claim for refugee status has not yet been assessed. Every refugee has at some point been an asylum seeker. A migrant, on the other hand, is someone who makes a conscious choice to leave their country to seek a better life elsewhere. This is Aitan and Mala's story.
My name is Mala. I come from Burma. I came to Australia 2009. I come to raise my family. I am very happy. And God help me. Thank you, God. Chị Magic help me. Thank you, chị Magic. Thank you, Townsville Multicultural. I am working and restaurant. My husband working and Kima. Yeah, my husband pushing Tori. My daughter working restaurant.
My name is Ethan. I'm from Burma. I've been in Australia 3.5 years. It's really good opportunity, and we can do whatever we want, and it's good we have opportunity to go to school, and then do it for the future when we want to work, and yeah, I like it. In Burma, it's really difficult to find to work or something like that, and it's not freedom, not opportunity to go to school if you don't have money, so you cannot pay for the school, so you're not allowed to go to school. But in Australia, it's not that difficult to go to school, it's freedom. I like to live in Townsville because everything's good.
Australia's humanitarian program has both an offshore and onshore component. With the offshore component, the majority of applicants who are considered under the refugee category are referred for resettlement by the United Nations High Commissions for Refugees after they have been identified as a refugee. Refugees also arrive as onshore asylum seekers who seek refugee status after arriving in Australia. Contrary to many opinions, the majority enter as visitors and students, while the minority arrive by boats without valid travel documents. To put this into proportion, over the last 5 years, the number of people arriving by boat in Australia is 20 times less than the number of people arriving by boat in Yemen. This is Matalene's story.
My name is Marthaline David. I'm from Liberia in West Africa. My family and I moved here in 2006 to Australia. We moved here because there was a war in Africa and a lot of innocent people lost their lives. I still have my two brothers living back in Africa. I do wish they were back here, but have to learn to accept some things. Right now I live in Townsville. It's quite different from Africa because the food system is also very hard. When the war came in 1990, the food system became bad. A lot of people started dying. There was always people carrying their dead bodies around on the streets. Like, it's not like in Australia where they put them in ambulance and take them away. You have to carry your own body out on the street where everybody can see. Only thing you have to cover them is with white cloths. Also in Africa, the school education wasn't really good, but when the United Nations started to come in and help, there was a public school for all the refugee children. I went there for, I think, 1 year. Then the United Nations brought us in Australia with my family, but sadly my two brothers had to be left behind. At the moment, I'm studying at St. Margaret Mary's, which in Townsville. I study at TAFE, and I also do Certificate 2 in Business. For my future studies, I really want to become a nurse in Australia. If I don't become a nurse, I plan on becoming a hairdresser, but nursing is my goal. And I take part in the refugee program in Townsville. Like every year, I dance at the Culture Fest with my group Hakuna Matata. At school, I'm involved in other programs like the Vinnie's Girls. That program involves going out and helping the community, like visiting elderly homes. I'm also a peer leader. The program involves staying back at school every Thursday and playing games with the little year 9s and 10s just to make them comfortable in the school. And now, I live in Townsville with my family. I do like it, and I hope my future goals I do achieve them.
In 2010, there were 43 million refugees, asylum seekers and internally displaced people worldwide, and Australia currently hosts less than 0.25% of that global total. In 2010, 10 countries hosted 62% of the world's refugees. Pakistan ranked first with close to 2 million refugees, while Australia ranked 46 with close to 22,000 refugees. This is John's story.
My name is John Flomo from Liberia, West Africa. I came to Australia 2008. I spent 4 years in Australia now. I like the life in Australia, and back home the life in Africa is different than Australia, because back home, like when you go for shopping, there's a big difference there. Like the oldest come to bat for it, they're going to serve the oldest before the younger could receive what he want. So there is a bit different. But in Australia, everybody staying in line. Even you could be an officer, you could be a big person, everyone can stay in line until they can reach to you. So there is a big difference between Australia and Africa. In Africa, when you don't have money, your children will never go to school. Yes, when you don't pay the school fee, your children are going to sit down and they are not going to go to school until you have to struggle and have money and pay the teacher before a child go back to school. So I really like the school system that in Australia. Thank you.
What help do refugees receive when arriving in Australia? A refugee who has permanent residency in Australia receives exactly the same welfare benefits an Australian resident in the same circumstances. There is no lump sum as reported in the media. There is no special refugee payment. They are permanent residents of Australia and receive the same benefits as everybody else. This is Nomi's Stories.
My name is Naomi David from Liberia, West Africa. I became a refugee in 1990. 1990, there was a war in my country, and the UNHCR helped us to we came in Guinea. From Guinea, we came to Australia. Life in refugee camp in Guinea was very difficult because there was no education, and also there was no good food, no shelter. It was very hard because that was a whole nother different place. Life in Australia is very good. It's fantastic and I'm very happy and lucky to be in Australia today. Things that I like in Australia is the lifestyles and where you can go and get help when you are confused and also need help with anything you want. For example, when we came to Australia first, Townsville Multicultural Support Group helped us to live a better life, also experience and explain to us very simple of how a lifestyle is in Townsville, because we didn't know when we arrived. They picked us up from the airport. They show or they educate us of how things are, and we started school. They enroll us into school. Now I have graduated from school. I'm working as a nurse. My mother is also a nurse. I'm interested in continuing with my study and be able to learn how to help and also make my country a better place. Also Australia, because I'm a citizen now. Thank you. My name is Naomi David.
To find out more information, please check out some of these sources: Department of Immigration and Citizenship, Refugee Council of Australia, United Nations High Commission for Refugees, Townsville Multicultural Support Group.
Working with ABC Open has taught me a lot about the film world.
I learnt all filming techniques, how to edit.
I learnt to not be afraid from telling a story.
I'm Luke Wong, the ABC Open producer for Central West New South Wales.
Hi, I'm Salome Middleton, ABC Open producer for the Gold Coast. ABC Open is a great way for people around regional Australia to create and share their stories with the ABC.
ABC Open producers are working all around the country. There's a team of 45 producers. That's one in just about every ABC regional station. We've built a new website which now has thousands of contributions. Great regional stories told by regional communities. We're focused on reaching new audiences and helping our existing audiences get on board with all the things that new digital technology can offer.
I'm Sonia G, Open producer for the Riverina, New South Wales, and I've been teaching people to take portraits of strangers.
So you're getting used to this camera?
So far, so good.
So what stopped you before?
Somebody to show me how to use it.
We're teaching digital media like photography and video skills, and showing people how to share their stories with others.
So that when big events happen, people can respond because they have the skills.
Floodwaters have hit the remote Kimberley community of Warman.
It's helping people understand each other.
We have to accept each other. That's what I want from Australian people, to accept refugee as a human being before looking to the colour of skin or what I'm wearing, if I'm Muslim or non-Muslim.
Telling people stories and hearing those stories is a great way to weave a community together.
The best thing about ABC Open is it gives you a focus. You can build your skills in a way that suits you.
They say a picture's worth 1,000 words, but what about 1,000 pictures? How much is that worth?
We spend a lot of time getting out into the community, putting on events and workshops.
We're also helping local communities tell their stories of resilience and recovery in the aftermath of devastating events.
It's, I believe, helped the community bond and come closer together, us all telling our stories together, and it's been therapy for me.
It's just the beginning. More and more people are getting involved, creating and sharing their stories, their passions, and the many perspectives from around regional Australia.